You eat genetically modified food all the time, even if you don't think about it. Tomatoes, corn, and soy are common examples of foods that have been genetically modified in different ways. You've probably even bought a tomato that stayed fresh for weeks or months, looking almost as good as the day it was picked. That isn't an accident. Scientists can make tomatoes last longer by changing certain genes that control ripening and spoilage. They can make the skin tougher and stronger, almost like armor, so the fruit is more resistant to damage, disease, and long transport. And for scientists, this kind of modification is relatively easy to do. But this raises an interesting question. If we can modify plants like this, why don't we modify humans? The answer isn't just ethics, it's biology. Let's start with something simple, like a tomato. When scientists create a GMO tomato, they usually change one or just a few genes. For example, they can adjust genes involved in the ripening process so the tomato doesn't soften and spoil as quickly. In many cases, changing a single gene can produce a clear and predictable result. Now compare that to humans. Human traits are rarely controlled by a single gene. Instead, they are influenced by hundreds or even thousands of genes working together. This is known as a polygenic trait. Think about characteristics like height, intelligence, or even eye color. Many people assume eye color is simple, as if there were just a blue gene or a brown gene. But in reality, many genes interact in complex ways to produce what we see. Changing one part of this system could unexpectedly affect many others. And that's the real problem. The human genome is simply too complex. For something like eye color alone, thousands of genetic interactions are involved, not just one or a few like in a tomato. When you change DNA in such a complex system, the results are much harder to predict. Changing a tomato is like editing one sentence. Changing a human is like rewriting an entire library without breaking the story. And with a tomato, if an experiment goes wrong, you simply throw it into a bin and start again. With a human, it's a completely different story.